our Riverside City College School of Business and Law show. My name is Justin Hudson.
And my name is Ajane. One of our goals is to bring you entrepreneurs, academic scholars, good friends, classified professionals, and leaders within our community. Today, we are fortunate to have a good friend whose name is Eddie Perez, who is a sociologist here at Riverside City College.
Welcome to the show, Brother Eddie.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Brother Eddie, we want to know some information about you, if you're okay with that. And so we want to know a few things. So tell us, what high school did you go to?
I went to Valencia High School in Placentia.
Okay.
We went up to about grade 11, and then I headed to Continuation High School, which was El Camino in Placentia as well.
Okay.
Stayed there for a little bit. Didn't really like it too much, so I dropped out of high school and applied to Fullerton College and did my senior year of high school at Fullerton College instead.
Wow. So what made you do that?
My mom told me you can't not go to school. So I had to do something. I was working at the time, and I said, okay, well, I'll go to school, but I'm not going to go to continuation school. I thought it was foolish. And so I went to Fullerton College, and I took machining classes. I was thinking I was going to get into machine shop or machining. Took a math class, reading class, and a couple other little courses here and there, art classes. I was really into art at the time, too. So I ended up at Fullerton College and did a couple semesters there and finally got serious about school and worked my way through the degree and got out of there with an AA.
Wow. And then after Fullerton, where did you end up?
I did a year at Cal State Fullerton. I did 2 semesters there. The second semester, I got really sick. I got endocarditis. And I wound up in the hospital for a couple of months and had to be on IV antibiotics for a couple of months. And so I just kind of, out of that illness, it was kind of hard to get back into school for a little bit. And then I got married a few months later from there. Then I just kind of shelved school for a little bit.
Wow.
Didn't go back until I was 30.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so I stopped around age 24, 25. Took about 5 years off before I decided to go back.
Wow. So what was that deciding factor for you to go back to school?
Money. It was, I was working and I was married at the time, and we were raising 2 small kids, and it was getting kind of hard. I was working as a graphic designer. Actually, I did graphic design for Home Depot for a while. Then I did commercial printing, where I was doing digital pre-press work. You know, taking the graphic designs and getting them ready for press. Wow. And I was making okay money, but the raises, were slow, and it was kind of hard to kind of build from there. I felt really stuck. Like I couldn't leave that job and get another job that paid that much, but I wasn't getting very good raises either. So I knew I had to go back to school if I wanted to, further my career and do something else. Right?
Wow.
So what was your major?
I originally started as a fine art major.
Okay.
I was a fine art major. I used to love drawing and art medium. I did digital graphics, a little bit of airbrushing and stuff like that. But when I went back as an adult, when I was in my 30s, I decided to switch that major because I was no longer content with graphic design, that sort of thing. It wasn't really doing it for me. I spent a couple of weeks just kind of floundering around campus when I stumbled into the sociology department. And I talked to one of the professors there. His name was Perez.
You remember his name?
Dr. Perez, yeah, he was a really cool guy. We must have been about the same age. He was just a couple years older than me, not very much older. And we sat and we talked for a good while just about life, school and sociology. I remember taking sociology with a professor over at Fullerton College, Dell Alcorn, great professor. And the next day I went and changed my major.
Did you really?
Yeah. Next day I went and changed my major to sociology.
So you got a bachelor's in sociology?
I got a bachelor's and a master's in sociology, and then my doctoral degrees in education, higher ed.
See?
Wow.
That's amazing.
And I still don't have that high school diploma.
Wow.
Come on, Eddie.
I used to have an uncle. He would laugh. He was,
Come on.
You can't get an AA without a high school diploma. I go, no, I can get the degree. So I would get the degree and I show him the degree. Like, well, you can't get a bachelor's without a high school diploma. You're gonna have to go back and get that high school diploma, get my bachelor's. And he goes, you're never gonna get your master's.
He said that?
He just thought that you needed it to keep moving forward.
Right.
I kept telling him no, and he would laugh. We would just joke about it. But yeah, I never went back for that high school diploma. But I technically dropped out, but I never quit school.
Come on.
I kept going. So
You just went a different direction.
yeah,
Non-traditional direction.
very non-traditional.
Come
yeah,
on.
very non-traditional. So
Bachelor's,
but I made it work. Yeah.
master's, doctorate. Come on, Eddie.
No diploma or no high school.
No high school diploma. Y'all hear this? You cannot let things stop you.
And the other thing too is this, there's not only one way to do it.
That's right.
There's sometimes things don't fit for certain individuals, but there is an alternative. You just got to be a little creative, and you got to go out there and explore your options and really kind of think about what those options are and what that means for you, right? As you kind of navigate higher ed.
That's real. Well, I want to ask. It's not part of the script, but did you have a mentor that was guiding you and helping you?
I always had kind of the surrogate dad individual that was in my life. I met him when I was 8 years old. I went to the Boys Club. He was the director of the Boys Club, service hours. Okay. So I did my hours at the Boys Club. So I would work there on the weekends. Okay. And then about age 14, he gave me a job behind the counter. I was a counter boy at the Boys Club. And so I worked at the Boys Club from the time I was about 14 up until about in my mid 20s. I would do some work there, had some kind of touch. So I was always around troubled teens, young men, and but he was a mentor. He would always push me to go to school and do things. And then my mom, her second marriage, she married a guy by the name of Manuel Castro. He was really educated, really nice guy, great guy. He had 2 engineering degrees from SC, and he was all about education and moving forward and really helping out the community, Chicanos and indigenous people, because he was Apache and Chicano. Okay. And so I got a lot of his ethics in about higher ed, mentoring kids from the Boys Club, mentoring young men in particular, right? Because they need a lot of support. Men of color, right? Yes. And so he's always been there. I still talk to him almost every week, a couple of times a week. He's in his 80s. Really? Yeah, he's in his 80s. Lunatic. He's an old Italian from New York, but he's got a good heart, Yeah. But yeah, he's always been there to kind of help support and guide me.
That's amazing. That was, I don't tear up this. That was the job I wanted after I earned my master's. I wanted to be a director of Boys and Girls Club. I actually applied for one in Florida. I was going to be in charge of 3. Just things didn't work out, so I couldn't move. But I've always respected the Boys and Girls Club. Wow.
So you saw the value for yourself as being or having a mentor. So are you a mentor now?
When I first started working here, I met Pati Aula. I don't know if you've ever had her here on the show, but she's she's an amazing person.
Yes.
And she, as soon as I met her, she tagged me as a mentor for the Puente program. So I served as a mentor for many years for the Puente program. These last couple of semesters, I haven't really been able to do it because my eyesight's kind of failing me. And a lot of the things that they have are at night, and I don't really drive. I can't commute at night, so it's kind of tough for me to be here and be supportive and really be there for my students. So I take kind of a back seat to that. Yeah. But I do just kind of like organic type of mentorships with my students. You get some students that you connect in some way, shape, or form, and you become their mentors. Absolutely. You don't really define it as a mentorship, but by definition, it is a mentorship.
Absolutely.
And so that's how they kind of take place today for me. Yeah. In most of the cases, a lot of my students will come to me and we develop these sorts of relationships, mentor-mentee type relationships. And it's been great. I've had students that, they come back and they're in PhD programs, right? Wow. And they're telling me about their experiences and where they're going and what they've done. And, a lot of them have families now. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of a growth with some of your students.
Wow. That's great. And so tell us, how did you end up here at RCC? How are we fortunate enough to have you here?
This is kind of a funny story, actually, because the last semester of my master's program, I was doing a class called the Community College Symposium, where they match you up with a college professor at a community college in your area, and you serve as a kind of a TA for them for the semester. You might do a couple of lectures, grade a couple of assignments just to kind of get your feet wet on what it's like to be a professor, And it was my last semester. And this is actually kind of a funny story. I was working in LA in commercial printing, and about March, I got laid off. And so I go, okay, well, you know what? This is my last semester. I'll collect unemployment. My wife was still working. We'll make it work, and I'll figure something out. I thought I was going to go to probations. I was going to apply for probations and, get in the juvenile hall and work with young kids, right? That was my ultimate goal at the time. And so you probably remember Dave Baker.
Absolutely.
They matched me up with Dave Baker.
Really?
So I was Dave's assistant for a semester, and it was getting toward the end of the term. He's going, "You getting that master's degree?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "When are you getting it?" I go, "I'm getting it in May." He goes, "You want to teach a couple of summer classes?" I needed the work. I wasn't going to say no. And quite honestly, I hate lecturing. I hate to be in front of people and talking, and I'm not a fan of public speaking. And so I said, yeah. And then I go, what the heck did I just do? What did I commit myself to, right? So I had these 2 summer classes. And so what I did, I called one of my old professors at Fullerton College. He was the professor that I had for my machine shop.
Oh, wow.
At the time, he's now Dean of Technology. And he goes, "Hey, yeah, I'll walk you through how to put a syllabus together. I'll, kind of give you some of the policies that I used to use in class." And, he kind of gave me the rundown of what he did.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, so I worked with Scott McKenzie for a little bit, and, kind of got my ideas down. And so I was ready for summer classes. So I started teaching summer classes. That was back in 2006. It was funny because he just walked me into Jan Shaw's office and said, put him on the schedule for 2 summer classes.
Serious?
He goes, "You want 3 or 2? I'm like, "Just give me 2 for now. I'll just give me 2. Let me get this kind of experience." And so I started teaching in 2006, 2 summer classes. The next semester, I got a phone call from Fullerton College because Scott shared with his buddy that was the dean of social science. Says, "I got a student that I want you to get on your roster for teaching." And so I taught a marriage and family class over at Fullerton College. And before I knew it, I was teaching at Fullerton, RCC, and I picked up a couple classes over at Chafee.
Is that right?
Wow.
And that's how I started. I wasn't even thinking about being in higher ed. It wasn't even something that was on my radar. Just I took the class because I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And it snowballed into this, and that was in 2006. We're coming
18.
up to yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow.
That's
And
how
so, I mean, now that you're here, did you ever consider like going to high school, or higher ed is where you?
No, I when I was kind of in between jobs, I did do some substitute teaching.
Oh, okay.
And so I would sub at the high schools and middle schools. Did elementary once or twice. That was really bad. It was like trying to organize cats when kids are little, right? It's like elementary wasn't my thing. But I actually did enjoy working with middle school kids.
Oh.
They were kind of squirrely, but they were fun. They were still kind of afraid of you, but they were, not disrespectful. And
Right.
they were kind of cool to work with. High school kids,
Oh,
you remember being in high school and having a substitute teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Your job for the day was to make his life miserable.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah.
That's
And
right.
so-
Because he's not gonna be there tomorrow.
That's
yeah.
right.
That was
So I
nice.
wasn't a huge fan of high school. So I that wasn't something I really wanted to do. I did think about it. I did for a while when I was going to school. I kind of looked into getting credentials, and it wasn't my thing. That wasn't my thing.
Wow, that's all right. I went through that same program you did. I was mentored for a semester here, and I taught classes and helped the professor here.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kind of what got me into higher education.
Oh, so
That's-
you
that's
told
crazy.
it that way, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so I kind of asked if you had any mentors. Is there anyone else that inspires you?
You inspire me, man.
Oh,
I got you.
He
I got
inspires us all.
yeah. The faculty that I work with around here are great. We have the leaders here on campus that we work with all the time, and you all keep me driven. It's like I know sometimes we get a little burnt out, but it's like seeing you all in certain places kind of charges us up a little. Keeps us moving forward, fighting the good fight, right?
Absolutely.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so here's a real important question, and we really want our students to hear this so they can take care of themselves. How do you maintain your mental health with your busy schedule?
Well, sometimes I'm not always great at it, but working out. You got to work out. You got to try to stay active. You and I were just talking about meditating, trying to get meditation time in. Make sure that you're taking time just to kind of silence the brain. Silence that mind. I like to go out on hikes. I live right next to the Santa Ana River. Every now and then we go down. We haven't been able to do it lately because my wife's foot's been injured, but we go down to the river and we hike the river, and it's just get outside, get into nature,
That's
take a
nice.
break from the busy life.
Yeah. So the key here is to take a break.
You gotta take a breather. Yeah, you gotta take breaks. You have to. your brain needs it, your mind, your soul needs it. You just you have to just give yourself some time to just take in
I agree.
the environment out there, nature, something else.
I read something this weekend, and he said we need to become conscious of our breath to recharge, and then get comfortable with silence so that we can renew.
Just, we're human beings, and sometimes we just need to sit there and just be. No devices, no TVs, no, not even music. Just sit there and just listen. And you got to really, I was reading something the other day, and this is really true. I think most of us try to do these sorts of things around our busy schedules. We're busy all day. It's like, I'll try to get a workout in after work. What we need to do is we need to schedule it in our books and work our work day around.
Come on now.
That time, because that's more important.
I'm with you on that.
That's really important.
It is
and
important.
we don't take this as serious as we should.
You're right. We don't prioritize it.
No, we don't prioritize it. And it's really something that we should.
I agree with that. Thank you. On that note, is there a book that you would recommend that our students read that you really enjoy?
There's this one book that I read years ago, and I used to read it like every couple of months. It's a small book. You can get it done like in a couple hours, an hour or so. And it was written back in 1902 by James Allen, and it's called As a Man Thinketh.
As a Man Thinketh.
As a Man Thinketh. And it's all about just kind of being mindful of what you're thinking about, making sure that you're keeping positive thoughts, making sure that you're focusing on what's good and what's going right for you, rather than focusing all the negativity, all the bad things, and I'm not feeling good. I'm tired, and you start thinking about those things, and that really wears you down. So it's a kind of way to just kind of train your brain to just kind of stay as positive and as energetic as you possibly can. Being mindful of what you eat,
that's right, how
you sleep, how you go throughout your day, how you treat people.
That's right.
And the beauty of it, this is written over 100 years ago, and it's still true today.
It's still true today. I want to ask you another question, because it's kind of tying all this together. You've been here for how many years?
About 18 years.
About 18 years. What are you doing on campus now that you'd like to maybe invite our students to come?
I'm active in La Casa Engagement Center. I try to get down to Umoja when I get opportunities. Just in those spaces, the Rainbow Engagement Centers, like the cultural and the LGBTQ, I try to be as active as I can. Not always, because I'm also department chair and faculty.
You're busy.
It's really hard to split my time up. But I poke myself in there, let people see me. I talk to students. But I really encourage students to go and look for those sorts of engagement centers, because they're so helpful and useful. If you're cold, you can go inside and hang out. You got warmth. If you're hot, they have AC.
That's right.
They have snacks there. They have computers there. They have people. They have mentors there. They have advisors. They have counseling. It's like you can get all your services and your needs met.
That's right.
In these little spaces, and they're really about you. And it's like about who you are, your cultural identity, your sexual identity. And it's really nice to have those sorts of spaces on campus, right?
Great.
So I advocate for those students. I'm also a faculty co-chair for our Latinx association.
That's right.
So all things Latinx, we're advocates. And how can we improve this campus for our students? We have 65% of the population are Latinos.
Come on.
Okay.
So we really got to make
population.
It's a large population, so we really should make this campus reflective of who they are.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so that's what we're advocating for. That's what we do. We really try to, and not only for the students, but for our faculty, for our classified professionals. All things Latino, that we can kind of
love it.
Move forward, move
That's
that needle
right.
forward.
Y'all heard that?
Now, I heard you were a renowned musician. So when it comes to music, what is one song that you would say is like the actual theme song to your life?
First of all, you gotta stop listening to Ajane. I can play. I can carry a tune once in a while. There's so much music out there that I like, and I go through phases. And sometimes I'm all into reggae. The other times I'm just strictly blues, or sometimes I'm into hip hop. This is I go through those sorts of phases where I'm just kind of, and there's so many tunes. I can't just pick one.
Yeah.
But one genre of music that really just grabs, because you can just hear one note and it just grabs your soul, is the blues.
Yeah.
When it could be a vocal, it could be a guitar, You know, I play harmonica. And
do.
You don't have your harmonica?
I didn't bring it. We were kind of rushing in here. I would have grabbed it if I would have been a little more mindful. But sometimes you can just play that one note, and it's soulful.
So, who are some of your the musicians or the artists that you admire who are blues players?
Oh, well, there's so many. There's Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters, Bo Diddley, Skip James, James Cotton. Those are some like
legends.
Yeah. Bryce Miller, Sonny Boy Williams 1 and 2.
Yeah.
All those guys, they're the ones that you go through my CD collection, you're gonna find Howlin' Wolf and all those guys in there, right? Those are the guys that I learned from, I listen to, and that I try to mimic when I play. Yeah, try is the key word though.
No, that's all good, brother. So I know there's so much out there, but is there one song you would say is your favorite right now?
Right now, there's a tune. I was listening to it the other day. It's called. It is called Jane Crow. Jane Crow, and Derek Trucks band, which is kind of like a southern rock blues band. They were playing, and I go, okay, where's this song from? I know it's not theirs. So I looked it up, and it turns out it's an old Skip James tune.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's an old Skip James tune. I love his rendition too, because it's just him and his guitar, and it's this old Skip. And right now I'm in that, like, I'm trying to learn that tune. It's a really cool tune.
I can't wait to hear it.
Jane Crow. That's the name of the tune. It's originally done by Skip James.
I can't wait to hear it. That's awesome. Okay, so Eddie, what thought or idea would you like to share with our Riverside City College students?
Thought or idea is, again, take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. School is here, and it's important, but make sure you're prioritizing yourself, your schoolwork, your family. Make sure you're getting your priorities in check. But don't give up. Persevere, because it gets tough.
It does get tough.
It gets tough. It gets hard. But you got to push through. You have to push through.
That's good. So one word we forgot to ask about.
And so what is one word that you would say best describes you and why?
Yeah.
One word?
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm persistent. Like there's been a lot of times where you just like want to throw your hands in the air and just go, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. Yeah. But you keep pushing through. You got to do it. Like I said, you see the folks on campus, and it gives you that little bit of pixie dust sometimes that you need just to kind of keep moving forward. So you're not alone in it, but yeah, you got to persevere and persist.
That's it. That's very good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. This was a real nice, relaxing, actually, interview. Okay. Which was really, really nice. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for inviting me and having me on, both of you.
Man, I wish you had the harmonica and you could just...
we have to bring them back and maybe get a few other people who play some musical instruments.
Oh, yeah.
And who sing. I don't know if you know Skip Berry, cybersecurity. He sings.
Oh,
he loves blues.
Oh, does he really?
Mm-hmm. We could have our own little tiny desk here at RCC.
That would be kind of cool. Have a special episode.
I know James Ducat plays guitar.
So maybe we can do that. Let's do that.
I like that.
Yeah, let's do that. What do you think, Fred? Should we do that?
Sounds good to me.
Tony, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, we're going to do this. All right, y'all. Thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you next week.